Pooja and welcome to Food Without Borders. Today we'll be making a walnut dip with roasted red bell peppers. Now this dip is from Syria and it's called Muhammara. If you love Middle Eastern flavors and you love hummus, you will fall in love with this dip. I love this dip with my assortment of dips that I take to parties with my veggie platter, or you can find 1,000 ways to serve this dip. So let's get started with ingredients. So folks, here I have some raw walnuts that I will dry roast in the oven for a few minutes. I have some fire roasted red bell peppers. Now mine came in a can because they're more convenient and readily available where I live. But if you would like to roast them at home, I will have tips and suggestions for you on how to do it on the grill or in the oven. I have some spring onions or green onions, few cloves of garlic, lemon juice, crushed red chili flakes, cumin powder that I will later dry roast, pomegranate molasses. Now this is completely optional. You can replace this with honey, although if you're looking for pomegranate molasses, you can find it in any Middle Eastern market. I have some olive oil. Now I will be using this olive oil to drizzle it as garnish on top of the muhammara. Then I have some salt to taste. And at the end, I have some water. Now the amount of water depends on your blender and your desired consistency of the muhammara. So folks, before I start putting the muhammara together, let me go through a few key steps of prepping the ingredients. The first thing is about the peppers. Now with the peppers, I'm using, like I said in the ingredients, fire roasted canned peppers. Now if you would like to roast your own peppers, you can cut it in half and lay it on a pan, skin side up, and broil it until the skin gets really charred. Then let it cool completely and you will see that the skin would just come right off and it's ready to go. If you would like to roast it on a stove, a gas range, you can just place it on the gas range and let the skin completely burn or char, and then again let it cool, remove the skin and remove the pulp from the inside, and it's ready to be put in the muhammara. Now roasting the cumin powder. Let's go back and I'll show you how to roast it. I have my pan heating up on high and this has been about 2 to 3 minutes. Now I am going to lower the temperature to a 6, which is a medium. To this hot pan, I will add the cumin powder, and you have to be very watchful of this because it takes seconds for the cumin to burn, and burnt cumin would not taste good in any of your recipes. So now I'm going to transfer this onto the pan. We are waiting for the color to turn 2 shades darker, and you'll know when the cumin is roasted because you can smell the roasted cumin, and this doesn't take more than a minute. It's done, and I am going to transfer this onto this little bowl here, and I will see you in the front. So folks, our cumin powder is all prepped. While the cumin powder was roasting, I turned the oven to a 350 Fahrenheit or 176.6 degrees Celsius. Now let's tackle the walnuts. Here I have a baking tray that I haven't greased. It's a clean baking tray. You don't need to grease it. I am going to lay all these walnuts onto this pan. Pop it in the oven for somewhere between 10 to 15 minutes. Now, here's the thing. We are not looking to change the color of the walnuts. We are toasting them to change the flavor. So if you're expecting the color to change, that is not going to happen. It will remain the same color, but the flavor will be way different. So I'll be back when the walnuts are all toasted. Folks, these toasted for about 10 minutes, and then I let it sit on the counter to cool down for 15 minutes. Now I'm going to add all the ingredients into the blender, and this is the easiest part. You've done all the difficult part of this recipe, and this is the easy part. Now I'm going to turn on the blender and let it blend until it's a coarse paste. Alright, this is done. Now the consistency of this is quite similar to hummus. I did not add any water to this because this particular blender did not need any water. Almost always when I use my food processor, I have to add some water, but I'm not going to complain because this looks perfect. Now let me transfer this into a bowl. Make it look a little pretty. Now, I will garnish it with some olive oil. Sparingly drizzle some olive oil. Well, that was not sparing. I got a little excited. I serve it with some vegetables. Now, one of the vegetables that I love with this dip is cauliflower. And all I've done is wash them. And some pita chips. I mean, what's Middle Eastern dip without pita chips? So now let's do the tasting. Here I have a teeny tiny cauliflower. Now, it's more of the dip, less of the vegetable. That's how I roll. The roasted pepper is the star of the show. You can taste the walnut, but you can't tell really it's the walnut, but it gives it that texture. Traditionally, this recipe does have breadcrumbs or panko. Now, how I have made it is gluten-free. So it's kind of healthy because you're having pita chips and then you're having breadcrumbs. That's like carb loading to another level and you don't need that, really. So I'm going to enjoy this recipe. I will leave a link to the written version of this recipe in the description box and I will see you next time. Bye.